Our most frequent attenders at our church come 10 out of every 24 weeks. That used to be abnormal. It is increasingly common. Nobody goes to church anymore. Not all the time. I wish they did. As a pastor, I kind of want people to be there. I think it's important. But with sporting events, shift work, the prevalence of online learning, the huge availability of great sermon resources, worship CDs, etc. I mean, people just don't feel like it's necessary to be at church all the time. Now, we can get mad at them for that, but I think it's probably just better that we acknowledge that's their starting place. Now, when I was a kid, church worked like Sunday morning, Sunday night, you were there. You know, Sunday morning was regular church, Sunday night was missions service or whatever. And then you'd have like adult Sunday school, which was before church, where you'd get your dose of doctrine. And then sometimes you'd have like a supper group before evening church where you could pray and fellowship for each other. Then we'd have like Wednesday night service, which was usually a worship service, where maybe sometimes people would pray for one another and lay hands on each other. And then you did, youth group or something like that. You were at church 10 times a week. That just doesn't happen anymore. People don't come to the property like they used to. People don't cluster like they used to. And people don't get together with the same frequency among the same groupings of people like they used to. All that to say that we need some relational creativity to figure out how our new culture works and how the gospel can be incarnated in these new systems of social relationships. And the first step to being effective is realizing that, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. It's different. Our reality is fundamentally different than it used to be, and relationships are different than they used to be. So rather than thinking about groups and clusters and services, I think increasingly we're going to need to think about spaces and environments and opportunities. We're going to need to think about spaces, meaning like spaces, meaning locations. Where can we get people where they already are? Like, can we do workplace Bible studies rather than Sunday night Bible studies at the church? Can we do lunch meetups? Downtown, in a central core where the people are already located, rather than trying to bring them into somebody's house on a Tuesday evening. Now again, this isn't because Tuesday evening house church is wrong or Sunday night supper club is wrong. It's just to say that they're not as effective as they used to be. We need to think about the spaces where people already are and go there rather than looking at the spaces we already own and beg people to show up. When I say that we need to explore new environments, what I mean is that the way our churches work and the way our services function should probably be a little bit different. So think about it like this. In your church, you probably have a lobby, a narthex, maybe a fireside room. Well, in those spaces, it feels more like a living room. So people relate differently to each other. You program different functions to happen in those environments because of how they feel. Your auditorium, your sanctuary, whatever you're going to call it, it probably feels a little bit differently. Well, the truth is there's 20 environments in our church facilities and beyond our church facilities that we could use that all make relationships happen a little bit differently. For example, you can have great relationships in a Tuesday night game of ultimate frisbee at the park, followed by a short devotional and some quick prayer. That's the kind of environment that I'm talking about. It's just a different, not only location, like physical location, but it's a different feeling. Or you could have a Tuesday night gathering in your auditorium rather than in your lobby, because again, it feels different. And you're gonna have to try and experiment with a few different things happening in a few different places in order for you to identify which things are going to be effective in your local ministry. And last but not least, when I say, new spaces, new environments, and new opportunities, try a bunch of new stuff and see what works. Do things for 6 weeks on, maybe 10 weeks tops, and then evaluate it, see how it goes. And the ones that work, protect them, repeat them, duplicate them until they don't work anymore, and pick something else. But the point is, you're going to have to mix it up. People are different now than they used to be, and so our church needs to be different as a result, so that the body can get together, so that iron can sharpen iron, etc.